Okay, chapter 3. Now we're going to put some effects into this. Remember before I told you about clicking on something, pressing escape so the editor knows about what level you want to do a brush at. So we're just going to shift click the floor and press escape. Then we're going to right click on the 2D view. We're going to just script model. This one's going to be a little easier than actually inputting a vehicle because it's a really small name. It's going to be a model for the key and X model / effects. Go ahead and minimize that. Cancel that out. Press escape there. Now notice what I put on the ground, a little effects thing. Ah, how cute. Okay. Excuse me. Now, what we're going to do here is we're going to insert a couple values, and we're also going to insert something that's going to reference a game script file, a .gsc file. Not your average GSC file, it's going to be an effects GSC file. Okay. First things first, we're going to give it that script FX ID. The effects ID is this name. Tiger Tank Explosion. Now, we also need to give it a script exploder. And it's going to be a value of 1. Because remember, this is bomb 1. Just testing you. Alright. And we're going to have to give it our big favorite. Give it the script game object name of bomb zone. And press enter and put it in there. That's our effects. Now this is a big effect. So we could put it pretty much anywhere in this vehicle and it's going to be pretty big. The smaller the effects you're going to use, you might want to be really precise where you locate it. Alright, now we got that inserted there. I'm just pulling out the trigger a little bit so you can set the bomb on the sides a little bit better. Now I'm going to go ahead and copy this section, except for the trigger and the origin. I'm going to place them over there, and I'm going to rename the values to reflect a script noteworthy 2, script exploder 2, and a bomb zone B tank. Sorry, let's go ahead and highlight the good tank. Press N. This script exploder is going to be 2. And the bad tank is going to be script exploder 2. And that's right there. Let's go ahead and move over to our target area. Press N, let's check that. Script noteworthy 2, bomb zone _ capital B. And inside our origin, trigger multiple B. Yep. Looks good so far. And let's go ahead and click these, the clip brushing, and we're going to right click on it. We're just going to make them a function group real quick. Kind of binds them all together. Let's click on the good tank. Kind of line it up where we want it. Bam. Bam. And kind of stick it right there. I could have copied the effects, but I just go ahead and redo another one real quick. I went ahead and just made another one. Just made a copy of it. And Tiger Tank Explosion, it's spelled right. Bomb Zone's correct, spelled right. And that's that for that. Okay, the final step in actually completing your search and destroy map at the end of this chapter 3 is we're going to be creating what they call a trigger look at. A trigger look at is actually going to be the actual bomb trigger itself. So we're going to go ahead and select our trigger texture, and we need to make this only 16 by 16. That's the limit. Looking at the manual, it says that it should be a 16 by 16 unit trigger with an origin brush placed so that its center lies on the bottom plane of the trigger. And I'm going to go through that as I do it. Okay, now we have our trigger texture down, 16 by 16 square. We're going to right click. We're going to create a trigger look at. It's not a trigger multiple. It's not anything else. It's a trigger look at. Go ahead and do our entity values for it. First one's going to be the script game object name as a bomb zone. The second one, we're going to be naming this one the bomb trigger. Go ahead and enter that in there. Let's press escape. Pardon me. My fingers are moving faster than my brain. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to create an origin brush just like it says, so that it is the center lies on the bottom plane of the trigger. Now this is the proper way to actually do a search and destroy map. So we're going to just make a real small trigger, another trigger look at, but it's probably going to be 4 by 4 if it's going to be in the center of this. I made it 4 by 4 in the center. It's an origin brush. We're going to right click it, make it another trigger look at. We're going to give it the exact same values as we did the trigger texture. Okay, we gave it the exact same values. So if I click on both, take a look, they both have the same values. There's also something I must emphasize. When you're actually creating your trigger area and your origin, the origin texture should be placed almost directly in the center bottom portion of your trigger area. This aligns it with the trigger area on the outside. If you don't do it proper, you're not going to have an A or a B sticking out. The next thing I want to really emphasize is I really don't recommend copying the vehicles and copying everything and placing it on the other side of the map. I really don't recommend to do it. One, sometimes it creates confusion, and when you actually go to compile and run it, it's not going to work sometimes. So just go ahead and do it all over again and create the second values. Like the script noteworthy is going to be 2, your bomb zone is going to be B, and your exploders are going to be 2 for this type. Now don't forget, you can also create a destroyed vehicle that's not the same as this one. You can just get a different model and place it in there so when actually the bomb goes off, it portrays a different vehicle. Now chapter 4, we're going to cover how to edit or enter or create an FX GSC file so our exploders can load properly in a pre-cache. And we're going to go ahead and create the blank GSC file that tells us who's the attackers and who's the defenders, and then we're going to go ahead and create the PK3 file.